The past 5 seasons of TGP Dirt have given us as many different champions. A sublime display from Softy saw him rack up 5 emphatic victories en route to claiming a second rally title in Season 5. Luca adapted best to a whole new calendar the following campaign, sealing the title on the final day ahead of closest challenger Phil at Rally Wales. A highly competitive Season 7 saw 5 winners from the 7 rallies, and it was the ever inconsistent Phil who actually was most consistent, securing his title with a win in Germany. Up next was the turn of Manxman Dom. A hard-fought campaign with closest rival Roy went down to the final day. Victory in Poland securing it for Dom. Irishman Roy came back strong though, winning 3 rallies in Season 9 and finally taking that elusive title with it. 1 year on and TGP Dirt returns with 7 rallies across the globe and iconic vehicles from the 2000s making up the field. And where better to start, the narrow asphalt roads of Monte Carlo that snake through the French Alps above the Principality host the opening round of what promises to be a truly fascinating campaign. The opening leg saw changeable conditions that gave a headache to drivers as they tried to work out which tyres would best suit the first 2 stages. Former champion Luca was one that opted for the soft tyres, and it would prove to be the best call for this stage at least. Running quick as 2 seconds clear of Aiden, but crucially 6 clear of the fastest winter tyre runner Zach. Jean's victory hopes took a huge dent just 30 seconds into the new season, with a right rear puncher the result of this impact. The Citroen runner already half a minute behind the pace setters in 14th overall. Worse for Chris, who found himself with just 2 working tyres after shunting the left side of his Ford. 80 seconds would be the time lost here, and carrying just 1 spare tyre would mean the next stage would be badly affected too. Fortune switched around as snow fell in the Col de Turini to part and descent. Suddenly all the hard work of stage 1 had been undone for those on the soft tyres. Rally leader Luca would drop 12 seconds as he struggled through the icy conditions, while Aiden appeared to forget which way the opening corner even went. Zach is still looking for his first title in the league, and with the fastest time in stage 2 he moved to the front of the standings as he looked to put right that wrong. Phil was just a further second back, enough to move him into 2nd overall. Another split strategy call saw the front 2 of Zach and Phil opt for the winter tyres, while the majority behind felt the softs would this time be the right choice. As Zach took to the roads though, he found himself 12 seconds off the pace, the soft tyres clearly the better choice so far, as Phil would go just as slow in his pass through. Dutchman Court, the Ralf Schumacher of the Gillisons, was quickest on stage 3, while the second fastest time for Luca was enough to move him back into the lead of the rally. Now 5 seconds clear of Zach and 11 ahead of Phil. A scruffy run for Dom saw him pick up an 8-second penalty for clipping a fan who stupidly decided to stand so close to the inside of the hairpin. The Manxman is seeking legal advice, with this incident potentially costing him victory. Remarkably now, just 1 second was the difference between Dom in 4th and Aiden in 8th, and all of these still in contention for the win themselves. CJH was another to find the conditions tough, taking a nasty fall and bringing his rally to an early end. Dan meanwhile must have thought his car was invincible. Heavy impacts with the barriers would see him carry big damage for the remainder of the rally. Luca was setting the pace up front in the Route de Turini descent, but a costly puncher at the halfway point of the penultimate stage cost the Citroen man 11 more seconds. His closest 2 challengers though would lose yet more time, the dry roads meaning Zach threw away another 17 seconds, while Phil did jump his rival at least for 2nd overall, but still losing 9 seconds to the quickest soft tyre runner. That man again was caught. A 2nd consecutive quickest stage time moved the Dutchman into 3rd overall. Zach now down in 4th with just the final stage to come. Austrian Iggy was taking it cautiously in his debut rally, but despite a 4th best time in stage 4, he dropped outside of the top 5 thanks to the times of Court and Aiden behind. It remained very tight for all positions, with the gap between the top 8 having come down by a further 4 seconds. With so many drivers all with a realistic chance of taking the win on the final stage, it was do or die. And die Mike Noon did. On the Bet Noon power stage, the Bet Noon man himself, Mike Noon, racing for Ware Noon, carried a little too much speed around this tight left-hander, sending him down to the Casino Noon. There was despair for Court 2, who threw away a podium in the final moments of the rally, ending up in retirement after falling down this banking. The power stage offers the top 5 finishers of the final stage additional bonus points from 5 for 1st to 1 for 5th. Zach and Phil, now both on the right tyre choice, would be 4th and 5th fastest. Steady times for Luca's challengers, but they would need a big mistake from the man up front if they were to claim victory. Dom, who had already claimed 2 power stage victories in the past, set the quickest time to take maximum bonus points, with Sam narrowly behind in 2nd, and John, who had taken the huge gamble of softs for the final run, in 3rd. At the very front, Luca incredibly did appear to hit trouble.
For fuck's sake.
An 8-second time penalty could have been so costly. There would be no power stage points for the Manxman this time, but he did crucially hold on to victory, finishing just 4 seconds clear of closest challenger Phil. While Dom, who had taken stage victory, jumped to 3rd overall with Zach 4th and John 5th. In the end, it was career victory number 6 for Luca, just about holding on for victory around the treacherous Monte Carlo roads. 17 seconds would cover the front 8 finishers, with each of these drivers behind Luca losing time at some stage of the rally that could well have given them the win instead. Alistair edged Owen for 9th overall, while Hickey and Mike were very happy to be inside the top half. 7 DNFs from the opening events, all leaving Monte pointless. Former rally winners Court and Alex will be hoping for a big response next week. Jack, Chris and John all finishing inside the top 15 and scoring points. So it's tight at the top, with Luca, Phil and Dom covered by just 4 points thanks to the placings of the Bet Noon Power Stage. Zach and John are tied for 4th, while Iggy will be happy with a steady start in 8th. Owen showing the pace of his former self and placing 10th overall. Monte Carlo never fails to disappoint, and the remainder of the season looks set to be just as competitive. 6 more rallies are to come, and once again this looks set to go right down to the wire.